What would it be like, guys, if we could boldly go where we've never gone before? Try something completely different, have a super powerful new momentum in fresh new beginnings and directions, and have it feel somewhat easy. We're going to experience some of those feelings individually and collectively as we experience a vernal equinox or spring equinox, 0 degree new moon in the sign of Aries. And this is going to be a very powerful turning point energy for a lot of us, where we're putting down a kind of critical inception of new movement, kind of like the Star Trek vibe, to boldly go where no man, woman, or whatever has gone before. And in your own life, that sense of the ability to initiate and get things going and get them started and have them succeed, especially what you start now, okay, in April of 2023, may be fully flourishing, blossoming, and giving you some significant fruit in the full Aries moon, which is in the fall. It will be on the 29th of September at a couple of weeks. So got to always bookend. New moons and full moons are always connected. So let's go talk about your sign. We're not going to really talk about the world events for this one. I'm going to do a separate video on the vernal equinox. That's just going to be a predictive technique called mundane astrology, looking at that inception chart of the spring equinox. But for you today, this is just all about you and your sign. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I am a whole sign house Hellenistic astrologer. I use a Western tropical zodiac. I'm an asteroid junkie. And of course, I bring in fixed stars, etc., whenever there is something relevant. Plus, I like to dabble in the Sabian symbols. So that's the gist of me. I hope you find my channel interesting, entertaining, informative, and or educational. And if you would not mind hitting my like button or subscribing, that really does help the channel grow. And I do appreciate it a lot. I'm a very intensely connected astrologer to my client, to my audience here. I read all of my comments, all of them. And I don't have an assistant doing it. I do it. So if you comment down below, I will respond. If you ask for a personal chart analysis down below, I can't do that, but I can respond to general questions or comments. So let's get rolling and talk. And Sky Reader, Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life. Third time I taught that 8-week course. It's coming up again in April this year. If that at all interests you, is something you want to boldly do and go where you haven't gone before, becoming an astrologer for yourself and friends might be something that interests you to get a really good introduction level, deep dive into some ways to use astrology predictively, and other things I'm doing below, all in my description box. All right. Alrighty, so let's get started. The vernal equinox or the spring equinox is the 0 Aries point. And like the 0 Capricorn point, which is a winter solstice, or, all the equinox points of the spring equinox, fall equinox, summer solstice, winter solstice, these are the Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, and Aries places in the sky. And the 0 point of each of these signs is representative of a shift of the light in the world. Now, based on the Northern Hemisphere tradition, of course, the longest darkness of the year is on the Capricorn season time, when we have the winter solstice, and then we have the summer solstice, when we have a ton of light and we barely have any darkness in the Northern Hemisphere. Of course, on the equator, it all balances out, but these are shifts in light and the way the light is moving. So what does the spring equinox mean symbolically? It's the beginning in the Northern Hemisphere of increased light. Okay. And because this astrology is based on traditions out of the part of the world, Egypt, Babylon, Sumerian, Persian astrology, etc., this is based on Northern Hemisphere cosmology. So this is a tropical zodiac we're talking about, symbolically pinned to the seasons and the meaning of that. So if you think about the increase of light, from now on, starting on the 21st of March, the spring equinox, days are going to get brighter and brighter and brighter, longer and longer and longer. We're going to have more sunlight, and we're going to turn the corner from what is exactly basically a halfway point between dark and light. So there's an increase in light, and this is also the beginning of the astrological new year. In your own life, 0 Aries is a house in your chart. There are 12 houses that represent 12 parts of your life. And so there's a new beginning here. And this is a very fresh start energy. It's very 0 is a very potent degree of something fresh and new starting. Aries gives you the initiative, drive, bold action, declarative energy to make it so. Aries is ruled by Mars, the action taker, decision maker, but also this is also a cardinal sign. The cardinal signs are the Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, Libra signs, and they are about action and movement and initiation, okay, and that sort of chutzpah energy, that like, let's get this thing going, let's get this thing started, let's get this party started, you know. And so we got this vibe and a new beginning moon, new beginnings, right? And over the 2 weeks that follow, look for the opportunities for these new bold beginnings to boldly go where you haven't gone before, to pick up. I'm going to talk about the Sabian symbol, and I'm also going to talk about Pluto and Mars today and show you the sky and then do all signs. You know, I don't always use Sabian symbols, but I've had this book for like 30 years and it's all beat up. And it's one of my favorite books for Sabians instead of using the online stuff. Diana Roche, it's called A Screen of Prophecy. And the main title is The Sabian Symbols. And I want to talk about what she says about 0 Aries. Now, when you're using Sabian symbols, you round up. So this is 1 Aries in a Sabian symbol read. And take a look, listen, and see if this is intuitively for you, whatever your sign. You know, Aries, of course, are getting the most juice out of this. I have an Aries sun and moon, but so Aries rising as well. All the cardinal signs are. So if you're a Capricorn rising, Aries rising, Libra rising, Cancer rising, you're going to get a lot of momentum from this. If you have your rising sign degree near 0, you're getting a lot more momentum from this. And also, potentially you can listen for your sun and moon as well. For cardinal signs, this is a real game changer, new start for you, but also for the fire signs of Sagittarius. Oh yay, Sagittarius and Leo. This flows to you. So you're going to move forward, but in an easy flowing, lucky way. Whereas the cardinal signs maybe jump start forward, like ignition, rocket ship energy, very, very fast moving and intense energy. So Aries, Aries 1, here's what it says in my book. A woman rises, this is the symbol channeled, you know, all the Sabian symbols are 360 degrees of channel content, 360 channel sayings. A woman rises out of water. A seal rises and embraces her. Keyword realization. Now, Sabian symbols are, you can use them like a Zen koan. You can interpret it for yourself. How would you be rising out of water? How would a seal rise and embrace you? What does a seal mean to you? To me, a seal is about playfulness and joyfulness and all of that. But it's also magical, like the Selkies and the mysteries of the traditions of mermaids and seals and stuff like that. That aside, though, according to this particular interpretation, the theme is a way to begin to begin. To begin. So it's a symbol that speaks to birth, emergence, and taking the first faltering steps, naive and faltering steps on any journey. And it speaks to the stirring from within that signals a realization of potential and possibilities of growth. And so you have to kind of go with your own, but it's new accents on new beginnings, starting fresh, starting anew, birth, growth, integration, self-integration, new cycles of experience, freedom of choice, receptivity, and guard against rash and hasty decisions and action. Of course, rash is Aries. Good luck with that, too. Look, I got 4 planets in Aries, guys. I can tell you the meaning of rash. I've been very bold, headstrong. Thus, the Aries horns behind me. But I am an Aquarius rising, so every now and then my brain kicks back in. I would say, too, that because this is also corresponding with the movement of Pluto into 0 Aquarius on the 24th of the month of March, and this is going to be on the 21st that the moon is new, and the moon is still dark as Pluto moves into the next sign. Let me show that to you, that this is going to be very much about momentum as regards to what Pluto is up to as well. So let's move Pluto over a bit by a day and watch him move. Okay, so there you can see there is this new moon, new beginnings, fresh start, 0 point of Aries on March the 21st, 2023. You can see that Mercury is co-joined with this, listening in, you know, all the news that's fit to print, all the information you need to have, all the insights you need to download from your ideas-oriented thinking mind, or all of that. Chiron here, been busy being healed with Jupiter lately. Jupiter healing a chironic wound. Check my last video out for that. I think it'll be out just before this video, and find out what wound you're healing that has not been available for healing for a long time, 1976, and not again until 2070. But in the meantime, Vestal Flame of Devotion as well. If there's a new beginning, you're going to be finding it through opportunity, through news and information, through a Vestal Flame of Sacred Devotion. You're going to be excited about it, devoted to this new start. It's going to require attending a flame or a fire. And you're also going to note that Pluto is going to move into Aquarius and then energetically apply a sextile to this new beginning. So we're going to talk in your own sign about your Aquarian house, where power, Pluto, passion, drive, intense divine willpower may be thrusting through this new moon and impacting you. And at the same time, Mars is the owner of the moon. It's happening in his house, and he's applying new beginnings next to the asteroid chaos. So we don't have to go too much into that, but there could be some turbulence and chaos, but in a sextile to the new moon, whole sign sextile. So Mars is prioritizing, like, imagine somebody's in your house and they're doing something like building a fire or renovating or painting. Well, Mars is going to look back and think, oh my gosh, there's a new moon in my house, right? With a pile up here of Mercury, Chiron, Vesta, and Jupiter. So he's like got a big party going on without him. And he's still going to say, well, I'm the boss of my own house. So by the way, I can see you guys, and I'm over here in the third house. So why don't I have a say on what we do with all this new beginnings momentum? And he's saying, well, let's pay attention, because he's here until March 23rd. Let's kind of pay a little bit of attention to the third house. But if you watch what happens with Pluto at 29 and Mars here, watch what happens as the days progress. Watch Pluto and Mars move. Okay, I'm going to go ahead day by day. So you can see now on March the 23rd, 2 days later, and in this distance is still a dark moon. In our visual sky, you can't see this thing. It's still a new moon. So while it's still a new moon, Pluto goes into Aquarius at 0 degrees. And remember, that was the 0 degree mark, and sort of blesses this with a new power, purpose, or passion, or intense divine willpower channeling through this new moon. And then you can see that Mars is just about to slide over into the next sign, and he'll do that here on the 25th. Now, at this point, the moon is visible as a slight silver crescent. It would look like sliver, it would look like that beginning of the first waxing crescent moon. So you will be able to see the moon in the sky, but just barely, a little sliver. And Mars is like, okay, let's get going. Action. Well, what is this? This is a cardinal sign. So this is like, we want to take some serious, like, forward momentum to go along with this moon in our fourth house matter. So I'm going to be addressing how this moon may play out with Mars executing the action plan in the cardinal sign, not the house. It doesn't matter. The sign of Cancer, because that will be one place in your chart where you are kicking ass, making decisions and getting action plans going full steam ahead. And the moon is the temple lord of a place where Mars is going. So I want you to remember there's like a moon event happening, a moon party, an intention setting, vision boarding party in his house. Right? That's what was happening on the new moon. But then he's going to go into the temple of the moon. And so he may want to say, well, if the moon had a party in my house when I'm in the moon's house, what am I going to do? Even if he's in debility, even if he's in the sign where he's not comfortable with his emotions, Cancer, he's in his fall. He's actually going to do something. He's going to try to do something with this new beginning. Boldly go where no man's gone before. But there's ever a cause or a time to watch out for too rash action, being reckless or restless. That could be what this fallen Mars could try to become as he tries to execute the story. And lastly, if we go back, I'm not going to dwell on this because this is Ceres, the great mother, and she's right opposite the new moon. And quite possibly the big story there might be something, because she's also on a world axis point, right? 0 Libra. There may be something, and I'm going to do this in my big picture video for the whole world, to do with grains, harvest, agriculture, and stories like that, or harvesting of something in each of our lives. And I guess in the all signs, I could say, because she's a sickle, a scythe, she's harvesting. What are you harvesting in this new moon energy that is going to be fully available for you to see clearly by the time we get to next fall, October, and we're in the throes of the aftermath of the Aries full moon? Like, a harvest can be about a completion or a reaping or something like that. And of course, the moon sun is opposite Ceres, so there is an energy of a tension energy, an oppositional energy between the two. I almost feel like intuitively the new moon is looking over at the Aries part of the sky, and it's got its ambitious intentions over there, right? That's where it's looking to get something done, but it's also about something to get something completed. So as we go into the all signs, that may make more sense. Today, I think I may flip my background behind me, so you're watching your sign in the live premiere with your thing behind me, and I'm not going to look at this as much, okay? I'm not in the mood today to swing this around because the moon is moving so quickly, and it's just going to be a hot mess by the time I try to do it that way. You'll see what I mean. It will be a hot mess. There we go. Back to the original new moon. Ceres is opposite. And what does that all line up to look like? So I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to grab some water, and maybe a little bit later, I'll take a break for some tea. And don't forget to hit my like button if you're watching the live premiere or watching later. I would appreciate it. And as I record on March the 9th, you'll get this a little bit later, maybe around the 13th, because my Patreon community gets all of my content before you do, ad-free, which is the benefit of that. So if you want ad-free content before the regular Joes in the world get it, for $5 a month, plus you get all my videos ahead of time, plus you get to see me twice a month in a live Zoom call for only $5. You can upgrade for 3 times a month to see me with a different kind of focus with my VIP room, but those are the options. So once you get into the Patreon, you can also unsubscribe if you don't like it easily with a click of a button. All right, so let's get started and talk about each sign. We're going to start, obviously, this is where you want to start with Aries, because like Aries is getting all this intense action. Like, really? Seriously? Oh my God, Aries, let's roll. So Aries people, this is the energy of a beginning of something bold and fresh and new, a powerful new start in your house of your body, your health, your identity, your sense of self. You are reinventing you. I always think of the I am statement. I am blank. I am a wife. I am a mother. I'm a teacher. I'm a pilot. I'm a brain surgeon. Wherever you finish the blanks, that's your first house. It's how you also see you and others see you. It's identity oriented. It's your wallet of your identity, of your zodiac. It's also how you see all of the rest of your chart. You are sitting there, especially Aries rising, less so sun and moon. You are sitting there looking across the way at partners for business and love, up at your career sky, down at where you want to live. You're seeing all of the houses from the vantage point of your perception. So what can really also be said, it's a new perception, a filter of perception that's quite exciting that you're taking on as a result of a 0-degree reset button in the house of you. And also you can think about the idea that Mars is the Lord of this story. It's his happening in his house. And he has been busy in the 3rd house of siblings, trips, and travel. He's very shortly, 4 to 5 days after this moon, going to spend 6 weeks in your 4th house of home, property, and real estate. All right, things you're doing in the home with great drive and ambition, things to do with property, land, and purchases, things to do with construction, renovation in the home. Some Aries risings we're looking at that mostly, sun and moon secondarily. Don't forget, the sun can be about your purpose and your father, the moon can be about your mother and your emotional and home-based needs. For you, a lot of you, this looks like you're wanting to go in an exciting new direction regarding your home. And for some of you, that may play out, especially Aries rising, over the 6 weeks of Mars's transit through your 4th house, roughly, the 25th of the month of March, add 6 weeks, and be spinning out from these new beginnings that this new moon is providing you. As well, you've got this energy of what do you need to complete or round up or finish up in the house of significant others. That can be a marriage partner, a significant relationship, a connection to your audience, and something you need to reap or harvest or complete when it comes to your business partners as well. Think about, and reaping, harvesting, scything, endings. Like, I think that reaping of something is the end of something. And Ceres is like, it's tense, it's not easy, but you need to make a cutting away or harvesting energy in the house of marriage and business partnerships, or clients and audiences and others. Like, I'll try to make up a story. My sun is and my moon are here in Aries, and my sun is my purpose and or my career focus ideally. And I have really got some questions about how to to winnow down the number of readings I'm doing. You guys all know my story. So it may be me cutting down my calendar hours dramatically in the future, or upping my prices and cutting my calendar hours down, or something like that. So I'm harvesting in the house of clients. I'm reaping and harvesting, but this could also be about a significant relationship that you need to excise or cut or reap or harvest, or something complete, something there. Pluto says, I'm going to give you supernatural superpowers, like a superpowered being, almost divine will, passion and power channeling through you from your 11th house of great gains from your career. Now, this can be a time then that's going to unfold over the 6 months, because this is kind of baking in something for 6 months till the full moon in the fall, where you're going to begin to reap greater financial gain, reputation gain, and career gain through powerful energies in your 11th house, or attract powerful allies that really support you in really boldly going in a new direction that can involve both websites, siblings, and writing. These are third house things, plus the movement of Mars into your fourth house, things to do with home and where you live and who you live with, actually. Certainly Pluto powering up in a sextile to the new moon energetically, and Jupiter Chiron. This is very opportunity energy. This is exciting energy. This is powerful opportunities coming your way, and it will lead to a very prosperous time for you. Connected to things that you're doing in your career. And this new moon is planting those seeds for how that prosperity will emerge for you. All right. So get ready for that. I hope you Aries are excited. I'm excited for Aries in general, since I have Aries on my chart. And I'm going to pause, grab some tea, and or maybe a bit of a nibble because I'm hungry, and I'll be right back. One more thing I want to say for Aries, given that Mars is actually still in Gemini, where he's been since August, which can be a part of the chart that represents your daily life and the kind of way you do the day-to-day stuff. You know, you could have a new beginning here, and some kind of new beginning with the kind of daily actions that are part of your life, you know. Whatever they may be, like, you know, I mean, like maybe I hit the yoga mat first thing in the morning, end your night with a powerful meditation, or go to the gym every day. For me, if you go to the gym every day would be a good choice. So keep in mind that, you know, Mars starting off in the daily house energy, the daily life, the everyday life, you know, your proximate neighborhood life, you know, whatever. You just may do also something like that as a bold new beginning as well. But certainly the great gains with Pluto powering into your whole sign 11th house. That's going to be so wonderful. Let's keep going. I'm going to change the backdrop so that we can watch the signs as we go through, and you can look at your sign, and then you don't get lost and say, coming into the live chat going, what sign are we on? We are on Taurus. All right. You are a Taurus sun, moon, but most accurately rising sign, because it's about you mostly, you're going to find that this is in your 12th house. Now, you know, the 12th house is kind of a soft, subtle place. It's out of aspect to you. You can't see it. It's a place where you might have your own unconscious drives and also your past life content maybe, or your spiritual life, your moksha liberation could come here, diving deeper into contemplation and yogic and cave-like isolation. You know, it is a house of isolation. It's where we have prisons and also insane asylums and places where the underdog and underprivileged might show up, and where we undo ourselves, where we sabotage ourselves, especially with addictions and unconscious impulses. All of that said, there's a new beginning here. So for one, a critical 0-degree new beginning simply means that if you've ever had any kind of challenges with any particular addictions, and you've been like trying to kick the addiction, and it's not been working, any Tauruses rising, especially, this is going to be a new beginning and an opportunity to do that, especially with Mars during the time of the moon in your second house. Or this is what you put in your mouth. This is your like food and drink and substances that you can smoke. Whatever goes in here, this orifice will be. Mars is trying to eliminate stuff there anyway since August of last year. I bet you a few of you Tauruses have gone on cleanses or stopped drinking wine or something like that, or quit the vape or whatever, and tried to quit the vape. My Taurus sun daughter keeps trying. Now she's weaning down to the lowest vape, you know, dosage possible. This will give Tauruses a real kickstart where you can have the bold drive and power to do what you need to do to kick an addiction or self-undoing, especially because Pluto, which is transpersonal energy, energetically intense willpower, more willpower than you have alone, will move into your 10th house and sextile this new moon in the house of self-undoing. So for some of you, there's definitely this feeling in the days that follow of being able to really get a hold of some kind of self-undoing, self-sabotage, strategy, addiction, whatever. Pluto's going into your 10th house of reputation. Now, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Pluto could tarnish your reputation here, or he could up-level it. You could become like totally powerful over the next 20 years. But in the meantime, that 0-degree test run, March, April, May into June, you could have some kind of, you know, ooh, yeah, like my reputation feels a little compromised. Pluto coming into your 10th house of career and reputation, though, can also give you more power in your career. So for some of you, you're powering up in your career and earnings story, a raise, a promotion, and it's connected to a new beginning from the 12th house. So maybe the 12th house is saying, are there backroom deals and negotiations being cobbled together to lift you up to a more success and power in your career? Are they going to move you to manager, to district manager, to see like what leveling up is going on in your power? in your career. And backroom deals and negotiations can be your 12th house. New beginnings there through those, talks that are going on, maybe without your knowledge. Maybe they're talking about you in a good way and they're going to come to you with an offer, because Jupiter is opportunity and he's embedded in the bunch of planets in Aries during the time of this new moon, and news, information, phone calls, text messages coming from Mercury. So from higher ups in your employment place or your career place. I like the idea of that. I think that Mars, of course, he's definitely prioritizing new beginnings in your earnings coming from that sextile energy, whole sign sextile in your second house. So better income, more better flow of cash, more resourcefulness coming off this new moon. Don't forget, the new moon on the 21st of March can play out to a full fruition to September 29th this fall, because that's when we have the full moon in Aries. So that is like, also don't just think about the next 2 weeks, okay? But it's a beginning of something that takes place over 6 months in some way. Ceres is going to cut, scythe, or end something. This is a house of employment, job, pets, and rentals. And this new moon may be shining brightly across the way, and she's looking at it from the other side, your 6th house Libra, and maybe saying, okay, new beginning here too. New lease, new pet, end of pets, end of leases, eliminating some debts if you need to, maybe because of the good money coming through your career. Possibly she could also have you eliminate a relationship if it's in the dating phase and cut out of that and say, I'm done with that. That doesn't work for me right now. And you could also cut away something here to do with things that you're causing illness for you. And this is on the addiction axis as well. So again, substances and habits and addictions can be scythed out, cut away, harvested, completed here. And there's a quality of the 6th house that's about relating to others, but it's usually your coworkers. So someone could get fired or leave, or collegiate space, people, exit strategies, endings, completions, or you're the one exiting something. Maybe you are getting an offer to work somewhere else and you're quitting where you work, or you're moving on up to the big time. That's a Jefferson's, to a deluxe office in the sky. And you need to know that you can cut out of the current employment place. And this new moon could catalyze that within 2 weeks, because this is a more acute story. All righty. Hopefully that makes some sense for you Taurians of the world. And let's keep going. The moon videos are not going to be my long videos from now on. They're going to be my pithy ones. I hope that short and sweet works for you. Are you watching in my premiere and you haven't hit my like button? Then why not? Because you want to definitely help my channel grow, so that I'm excited to put content out. Right now, I'm averaging something like 30 videos a month. And if that is up your alley, that you love that kind of regular updates on the astrological weather in the sky, plus I'll be putting more teaching videos out as well, then please, please, please subscribe and like and hit the bell for notification. All right, and like me in the premiere, thanks. Okay, so Gemini, Sun, Moon, but most accurate, usually rising sign people. First of all, the new beginning with this bold, fresh start and this intensity and this, kind of like momentum, like to boldly go where you haven't been before. This is about your friendship circles. It's your 11th house of good spirit. It's about your groups that you belong to. It's about great gains from your career path. For a lot of Gemini people, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and my Sun has progressed to Gemini, so I'm liking this. You're going to seed something new, begin something new, take some action, and make some decisions that are going to allow you to have greater financial great gain and success from your actual career and work story. I also feel with Mercury and Jupiter up here, you may get some interesting opportunities in the 2 weeks that follow this moon to do something, and Mercury can bring it on through phone calls and emails, and suddenly being, activated by communication from someone who's Jupiter. Jupiter is somebody who's an ally, a friend, or whatever, but in a position of power and leadership, wanting to support you as a Gemini rising, Sun, and Moon over the 2 weeks that follow, critically support you to increase your gains from your career. That's the new beginning, and you'll see greater career gains financially and in your reputation and in your fame. Even the 11th house can bring celebrity, and that's going to increase all the way through Geminis until the fall. Oh, I'm on Cancer. Oh no, people hate when this happens. I know I'm going to get bad vibed all over the place. I'm not going to edit it. Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. Shoot. I'm not doing it all over again. At least I was saying the right words. Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. Also, I should All right. What else can I say? Mars is the owner of the temple where the moon is happening. It's his house, and basically he's in the house of you. You're making action steps, taking decisions. You're being bold and declarative. You are the one with the sword in your hand. It's a verbal sword, an idea sword. It's Gemini, and he's supporting you to critically know, understand, and do and decide what you need to do in order to have these great gains and new beginnings in your career. And it's also just the critical awareness of which opportunities are the ones to take. As this is going on, then of course Mars will enter your second house of earnings for 6 weeks starting around the 25th of March. And he may, because it's a part of this aftermath of the moon, and he's angular to the moon, all right, in Cancer, the temple of the moon, it was a new moon, he may say, let me make sure that you make a lot of money, or that you get new possessions that you really want, or you eliminate foods that you shouldn't. It's definitely good for that. But it's also Mars going like, we're going to drive to make money, because he can be restless and reckless and rash and bold and headstrong. And he's not in his best form. He's fallen in the second house. Just be careful. I'd say burnout in money-making endeavors, or be careful in terms of your speech, even that you're not too bombastic or Martian and bold in a way that can cause difficulty. But more importantly, he still wants to work with it, the lunation, right? It's a lunation in his house, and now he goes into the moon's house. So I think there's a kind of reciprocity embedded within this, my humble opinion, where he's like, okay, well, let me see if I can get, rustle up some real good grub around earnings momentum for you and cash flow. So a lot of Geminis will find that to be hopefully awesome. There's a harvesting, an ending, a completing, a severing, a cutting away of something to do with your fifth house. Now, this can be about your children or your lovers or your romantic relationship. Some of you will be exiting a romantic relationship, one that may have begun as a friendship because of the moon in the 11th house, or because you belong to some group of some sort. Yeah. But a romantic relationship exit strategy, cutting, ending, harvesting, completion here, or with your children. That can simply mean a child moving out of the home. Okay. So don't panic about it. And, also, you may kind of cut away, harvest, or end some kind of independent entrepreneurial sort of strategy. There's a completion of something here. I think it could be the end of a certain strategy regarding one of the means of the fifth house is to be an entrepreneur or your own business, self-starter energy. Pluto's powering up, of course, and he's going to be around the 23rd, 24th, moving into Aquarius. That depends on where you live in the world. And that energy will be amazing in terms of its ninth house, Pluto, the house of God, the house of wisdom and knowledge, teaching, education, higher education, book publishing. And as he goes through there, it'll be 20 years, right? That's a whole other story for Gemini. He does sextile that space where the new moon happens, and the moon is still dark and still new in your 11th. So 9 to 11, the power and flow between Pluto and your great gains because you're teaching, mentoring others, great gains because you have a book you need to write or publish, and great gains because you're leaning into your truest meaning of your life, your dharma, your true calling, great gains through a father figure supporting you to succeed in your career, great gains from legal matters working on your behalf to help you have greater gains in your finances as pertaining to your career. Just a few possibilities. Third marriages, if you're in a third marriage or going into one, this is your ninth house in the system I use. There's two different systems in India. I'm using that second one that I think is better. And it can mean that there's a power up in a third marriage that supports your career gains in some way, greater gains in your career. Okay. Hopefully that's useful for Gemini. And now it really is the Cancer rising people and sun and moon. Sorry about that, guys. I screwed that up in the picture on behind me, but hopefully you were listening to me, not just looking at the picture. All right, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising people. The 10th house is where the new beginning is at 0 degrees on the spring equinox on March the 21st. A new beginning, a new seed is being planted in your career space. It could fruit out fully in the fall during the October timeframe when we're in the aftermath of a full moon in Aries. This is a very intense, supercharged, boldly go where you've not gone before, Cancer, in your career and reputation zone. So this is a big energy for you. It's huge energy and it's full of luck and opportunity because Jupiter's there. And as well, you're devoted vessel flame. You're excited. You're devoted to this new beginning. It feels good. You feel good about it. And then technically with Mercury up there, it also may be a new beginning that comes through some kind of exciting news. It's coming in a couple of weeks after the moon or even a few days around the moon. This new moon also could help you deliver messages in the work you do as a leader, as a teacher, because Jupiter can be that, and you're the messenger, teacher, leader energy, and the new moon incites something, really cool for this. My sister Nancy, healingwithnancylynn.com, is a Cancer rising. She was talking, well, she doesn't really talk. I said, you gotta get a social media platform out there, or maybe you should do a newsletter and get down with that. So maybe some of these like new directions, bold new directions for her. She's all word of mouth anyway, but she's so amazing. Can be what's going on, and that will be harvesting something good for her over the 6 months that follow. Time to reap and sow and harvest and eliminate and complete fourth house matters. May change something in your home, about your home and land and real estate, or there's some kind of completion regard to something going on with someone you live with in your home. And the new moon is casting a dark light across the way. In other words, Ceres is looking over at it. The new moon may be focused on something to do with harvesting and completing something in the home. It could be very mundane, right? I mean, it's Libra, so it could be like, we're finally going to decorate that room and make it an office or something, or make the office better than it was, or kick somebody out of the home, right? Time for somebody to leave the home that no longer should be living with you. These are just ideas, but they're possible. Pluto, okay, Mars is in the 12th house of self-undoing addictions and sabotaging patterns. Also, this is a house of PayPal and Stripe, because you're making revenue from foreign lands, which is a 12th house thing. There's quite a strong possibility that this is also career and revenue oriented if you make money across borders. Otherwise, there's a turning point here with Mars prioritizing maybe something that says it's time to let go of, or release, or end, or cut away from some kind of mindset problem or subconscious sabotage to your own success in your career and purpose part of your life. Mars then, of course, moves into your first house, and he'll be in that angularity to where the new moon happened. He'll be in Cancer, a critical energy of cardinal action, though he is in a condition of his fall. So be careful, because this is where you could injure yourself, actually, Mars in fall in the house of your body. So if you're Cancer rising, I want you to be really careful. March the 25th, that's 6 weeks, to not do anything reckless or hasty with your body, that you don't trip, fall, hurt, break a bone, burn yourself in the kitchen or something like that. Otherwise, this is you being very capable with the Martian energy to get things done and to make decisions and take action that you need to do to succeed. It's going to be 6 weeks of you being very Martian, even though you're Cancerian. Mars wants to execute something because the new moon happened in his house, and now he's in the house of the moon. So he will have some reciprocity to things that you take action on to get more success in your career over the 6 months, but new beginnings most proximate to the March 21st new moon. And then Pluto moves into your 8th house of chunky money. It's going to be there around the 25th of the month, 23rd, 24th of the month. And what I would say is that you're going to find that Pluto powers up, something to do with greater money coming to you with less paycheck work. It's not like the daily grind, the salary, the paycheck. It's like a tax rebate, things to do with insurance payouts, mortgages and leveraging money, debt relief maybe. Something to do with your spouse's money. And that's kind of participating, helping you start this new beginning in your career. So, I mean, if you could come into a little bit of chunky money in the 2 weeks that follow, that seems like a little bit of a bonus money on the game board of life. And it may allow you to actually create more momentum and power in that 10th house that you're operating in, which is your reputation and career space. And lastly, Pluto could get you to enact or get down with some tarot, astrology, magical, mysterious, paranormal stuff that also supports your career, but powerfully, because Pluto can make you wealthy as he goes to your 8th house over the next 20 years, or an occult master. Take your pick. All right. Thanks, Cancer, for listening. And let's go ahead and do Leo. And, or I need to change that backdrop again. And it is Leo. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. I never thought I'd be a weather girl. I'm a weather girl of the zodiac. That's why I want to get that deep code astrology going. Still in the live, because I want to go deeper than just telling the weather. Still in the live premiere. Hit the like button. Thank you. Don't forget to check out everything I have to offer everybody in my in my description box. So many offerings, freebies galore. You can just grab them and get them for nothing. Trust me, I've got at least 3 good freebies down there. So please check out my description box. Maybe some of that stuff will appeal to you. And let's get rolling. So for you guys as a Cancer, as a Leo, sun, moon, and rising, let's make sure I have Leo behind me again. Did I do it right? I did. Yeah. Okay. So Leo, This is happening in your ninth house. Ninth house is a very profoundly spiritual place. It's temples and God and religion and wisdom, sometimes courts and legal matters that involve courts and judges, and also things to do with book publishing, also academia, campuses and colleges, and foreign shores. Oh, and father figures. New beginning, new start, fresh beginning, critical, bold momentum to boldly go where you haven't been before in this part of your life. Okay. And it's going to be an energy of a sort of an oomph. It's a cardinal energy, and it's flowing to you. It's flowing to your leonine beingness, right? So like the Cancers before you, it was square. So they're getting more of a kick in the ass where you're going to be like, oh, so much luck and opportunity coming my way. Jupiter in the ninth house from father figures, academics, foreign lands, travel, book publishing, third marriages, all of that. So this is easy for you, but it feels powerful. It's a new beginning. You might start a new book. You might get an opportunity to travel abroad. You might get a new beginning connected to things to do with studies and learning. But it's all very exciting. A vibe is exciting energy, and you're really kicking off something. You may get an email, a phone call, news from a father figure from a foreign shore, or from a legal matter, or from an academic environment that's going to excite you in the couple of weeks that follow the moon. Certainly this is good for positive directions and legal outcomes, and Jupiter's protecting you legally anyway until the middle of May. Second of all, things go in your favor usually with Jupiter in the ninth house with legal issues. Also, you're going to experience Mars, it's happening in his house, right? So he's looking back at his Aries house from Gemini, where he's been since August, and he's in your 11th house of good spirit. Now, for some of you, you've cut away from friends that are no longer good for you. Let's say the end of toxic friendships. You have learned to see who are your friends, who are your real allies, who has your back. And Mars has been swords fighting through there, cutting out the dead wood, the gangrene, the broken, the limbs that are dead of friendships and groups of belonging that aren't right for you. Leos, okay? And then now he looks back at the moon in the ninth, and he's coming from the 11th of good spirit. He could bring in exciting new friends, a new cadre of people. He could give you momentum in your earnings as well, your career momentum, career earnings, bringing it into alignment though with your truer purpose, more purposeful money energy from your gains from your career, because of a new beginning in the house of God. And it's really about an alignment with our dharma, our righteous right actions in the world that bring goodness to self and other, and your unique meaning of your life as well. Technically, with Pluto getting ready to move into your 7th house, not quite there yet, but 23rd, 24th, moving through into your 7th house. This is your marriage house, your significant relationships. This is your business partners. And sometimes if you reach out to an audience to sell your 10th house things, 10th from the 10th, it's your wares, the things you give to the world to sell or market, or, your fans and audience, right? Clients. So you could find there's some new power there that's, going to germinate something good, but it's also connected to, maybe a powerful turning point, transformational energy within an existing love relationship. And if you're single, there's always a chance that a new moon here could provide a new moon in the 9th and that Pluto in the 7th, a new relationship sometime emerging from the 2 weeks that follow this moon, Leo, that's going to feel like, OMG, like I brought this powerful new person into my life, this person's so powerful, and not necessarily in a negative way. And could be someone you meet on a trip abroad, or somebody you meet in an educational setting, something 9th house, somebody who's aligned with your values of spirituality and wisdom, and even your religion even. There's some kind of completing and harvesting you're trying to accomplish in your 3rd house. Are you trying to harvest a situation in your neighborhood, the end of relationship, a childhood friendship, even somebody you made friends with in elementary or public school and years, because harvesting is happening here. Because Mars is harvesting also in friendship areas. So some of you Leos are really cutting out and cutting away from old friends, or there may be some news of an old friend, cutting away in some way from your life. There also could be things going on about harvesting and completing some kind of connection to a sibling, especially a younger sibling, or harvesting or completing some connection to writing projects, to complete those projects, selling, communicating projects, and maybe even completing some association or affiliation with your own neighborhood, like changing your neighborhood, completing it. I'm done here. I'm done living in this like rundown old neighborhood. I'm moving on up. This is a powerful sky. I almost forgot to mention that Mars will move into Cancer, right, around the 25th of March and be there for 6 weeks. And he's taking his cue from a new moon in his temple, and now he's in the moon's temple. What does that mean? Okay, well, it's certainly going to be amazing for any Leos to stop all of their addictions and get rid of them in the 6 weeks that follow. No more self-undoing, no more self-sabotage, no more bad food and drugs. Mars will be angular to the house of father figures, and it is a house of hospitals. I'm not worrying you, but I have to be realistic. Maybe a story in the wake of this moon where your relationship with your father is going to have a new beginning, father figures, because maybe somebody is in the hospital, father figures, and Mars can represent that. And that's playing out March 25th, adds 6 weeks, but it's giving you a new start and a fresh beginning with that father figure. Okay. And lastly, Mars moving into your 12th house means trips to foreign lands and shores. And that's also a new moon there. Certainly, I could say that foreign lands and travel and information, news about that may be coming up in the 2 weeks after the March 21st new moon, and moving, especially when Mars gets into the 12th house. And a lot of you, Leos, will be on the road traveling to a foreign land or a foreign shore. Mark my words. Or planning that trip in the 2 weeks that follow the moon. All right. Because don't forget, there's a full moon in your 9th house of foreign lands in the fall. So there's definitely a lot of foreign land vibe going on between 12th and 9th house. Foreign from your birthplace, FYI. All right. And third marriages as well. If you're on a third marriage, this is a new beginning in your third marriage. Okay. Moving on to the next sign. And let me make sure I move everything forward in my back end chart. That's Virgo. Everyone knows that my best friend's a Virgo rising, Virgo sun. My child's son, SON, is a Virgo sun, and my daughter is a Virgo rising. I have a lot of you in my life, and my mom was a Virgo sun. I'm haunted by the Virgos, which is my 8th whole sign house as an Aquarius rising. What the hell, eh? So let's get going. Virgo rising, sun, moon, and all of that. Rising sign is most accurate. So this is a money story, a new beginning in your house of chunky money. Now, because it's money you share with a spouse or significant person, business and love, it can be their money that's benefiting you, but there's a powerful new start, a new beginning. You could also be able to get revenue from investments in the stock market from this new beginning, or through inheritances as well. Now, because this is an inheritance house, as well as investments and as well as mortgages and leveraging money, credit cards, debts and stuff, but because it's an inheritance house, there's always a possibility with any major events in the inheritance house of being in a bequeathment window. And so keep that in mind, because Jupiter is traveling through here, and that's a bequeathment transit for legacy wealth, because Jupiter is a ruler of your 4th house. So in your case in particular, Jupiter here till middle of May, and then this new moon could be bringing in some inheritance. And so let's not wish that on you. If there's somebody, you think maybe elderly or ailing, though, there can be this end point coming through this moon. And with a full moon there in the fall, that could be actually receiving the inheritance. So there's that, but there's chunks of money coming at you, and there's a harvesting and a cutting away from and completing the hustle and the hard work and the daily grind or the paycheck energy of your 2nd house. Less reliance on that, and more like a backstop of some money that you can count on to be in your story as of this new moon and over the 6 months that follow. Mars is cutting away in the traditional house of the father, the 10th house, in one of the traditions I use. And so therefore, again, father figures, a new moon is a sun in the 8th house, father figures. So for some of you, there's a new beginning, fresh start, but every beginning embeds an ending. So there can be a change of a relationship with a father figure. Again, we could have some inheritances in those areas as well. You may also cut away from a job or workplace and get severance packages or get cut away or be fired or change your job and get some kind of chunk of money because you're leaving, like a severance buyout or something like that. If they're downsizing, they give you a bunch of money to get rid of you. Those are very much Mars in the 10th and the new moon in the 8th. But Mars will move on, of course, and then end up in your 11th house. Oh, wait. And Mars in the 10th house is in the house of your career space. And there could be conflict up there, difficulties that have been ongoing for Virgos. And this could be definitely a critical turning point, because as Mars goes into your 11th house of great gains from your career, you could find that you come out on top in any work and career space. And now you're receiving some great gains. However, Mars has fallen in the sign of Cancer. So be careful that this ambition and power that's going through your house of great gains in your relevant to your career and workspace isn't going to be also having some downsides. Is there like an unknown downside to this drive, ambition, and willpower racing through your great gains from your career? And I don't know what that might look like. It can also look like, even while you're succeeding, a gnarly person of influence is poking at you from the backside end of something to do with work and career. Pluto is going to power up your 6th house of tenancies, leases, pets, and debt. It looks like a relief of debt. On the 25th, 26th of the month, 24th, 25th, 26th, you're going to find that Pluto settling in there at 0 degrees of Aquarius. It's taking cue from a new moon in a chunky money house. Some of Virgos are going to get a chunk of money that helps them eliminate any kind of debt or a sense of indebtedness to situations. And because this is a rentals and leasing house, as well as pets, those themes are pets, leases, rentals, power, can really be powering up, but connected to new beginnings, and new beginnings that affect your money story, which is why pets are probably not the most important part of it. More like maybe rental properties or something like that. If you're single and you want to start dating somebody, I will be a little bit cautious under this transit, but Pluto in the 6th house, it can involve dating. And you could just say, I'm a new beginning, I'm dating somebody really rich. Haha, lucky me. That could be all that is. Ceres, the goddess of the scythe and harvest and completion and endings, in my humble opinion. I've seen her do all kinds of endings things, okay? Just very much like the harvest goddess might consider, given her symbol. She has many other meanings than that, but I'm using that meaning today. What are you going to complete, harvest, scythe out or sickle out of your life? Yeah, I talked about it. Yeah, your earnings hustle, your daily paycheck, the money that comes to you resourcefully through your earned income. That looks like it's cutting away. In fact, Mars in the 10th, I don't know if you're quitting your job or getting fired, but all of a sudden the universe provides other money anyway, even if it's unemployment benefits, because the 8th house would be insurance payouts, including government subsidies for unemployment. And if that's okay with you to be unemployed for a short time and take some government relief money, that sounds like a good idea. Do it. Why not? I mean, I'm not advocating for welfare, but any other meanings here? If you've been struggling with health challenges, Pluto moving into Aquarius can really begin to up-level your power, vitality, and force by which you address your health problems. And that's going to be there for 20 years. But it could be the beginning, a new beginning of uncovering a hidden cause of a health challenge and recovering because of that reveal as well. And if you're in a long-term committed relationship, Saturn just started going through your 7th house of marriage. It's time to either create a solid foundation or break down the whole thing completely and demolish it. But that's another story. But I just was looking at the sky thinking, yeah, well, some of you are going to go through some significant overhaul of long-term relationships. If you're a Virgo rising, especially, okay? Oh, we're going to move on to Libra next. And I can't believe I'm only halfway through. I have to be at a friend's for dinner, so I'm going to keep going at a nice clip. And if you're in the premiere and haven't hit my like button, would you please do that? I'd so appreciate it. Now, if you're a Libra rising, especially, but Sun and Moon secondarily, the opposite sign from you is in your cardinal. So like I mentioned in the beginning, you guys are going to get a lot of kick-ass oomph from this new bold beginning, this fresh start energy. But with this new moon in your 7th house, it's a new beginning in the house of others, and therefore a new relationship, a new significant business partnership is being formed, a new beginning with your spouse or significant other, or if you don't have one, any of those, then a new beginning because one's coming in. A new significant relationship may emerge from this, especially because Pluto will move into your romantic love house just shortly after this moon and activate that. And so therefore, romantic love. and romance and power and passion and intensity connected to a new beginning. Will this person show up in 2 weeks afterwards? Maybe, but this is also a story that can float out till the fall as a 6-month rollout of some new beginnings in love and romance and partnerships with business, especially entrepreneurs out there. Forming powerful new alliances in your business model can happen with Pluto in your 5th house of entrepreneurship and a new moon in your kick-ass new moon at 0 degrees in your 7th house. You're planting some powerful new seeds for business alliances and significant love stories. Now, the other thing with Mercury here and Jupiter at the time of the new moon, you may get some news, information, phone calls for opportunities from clients or significant people in your life coming through the sky in the 2 weeks that follow Libra. And so pay attention to what comes your way through that axis of other people that are significant. You're kind of looking at Mars in the 9th house of God and wisdom and churches and truth and foreign lands. He's looking back at this event in his house and thinking, well, how can I participate? At first, he says, let's bring some momentum to your 9th house. Opportunity for foreign travel, maybe some academic events that are picking up, or some legal matters resolving for you in your behalf in a new way. But then when he moves into your 10th house, then he's going to be all about your career. And even though he's in a state of his discomfort and he's fallen in the sign of Cancer, it could really reflect you being on the go in a lot of drive, ambition, even searching. Mars can search, like search and rescue for a job, a new job, or that kind of thing, or leaving the current job. Be careful for rash, reckless energy because Mars is not in his best form in Cancer. Okay. But he's trying to reciprocate with that new moon in the house of him. So he's trying to find you some new direction, maybe in career. And for some of you, new work, new job. And that's going to be playing out from about the 25th of March, add 6 weeks. And it's still kind of funneling off of the new moon. So, contracts, agreements, terms of service, new job, new work, all of that could be coming out of the end point of this moon. Pluto will, I said that Ceres is in the house of you. What do you need to cut away on, end and complete about your health, your body, your sense of identity? It's Libra. Some of you will be going through energies of breakup energy, or I'm no longer a paired being, maybe, because a new moon, new beginning can also be an end of a significant relationship. And with the scythe in the house of you, you're the one making the choices to end it. You're likely the one saying, I'm going to cut away out of this business or love relationship, either one. And so there can be some endings coming for some of you in that regard. Alrighty. It doesn't have to be a nightmare or anything like that, because whatever this new beginning is in your 7th house, it's a full moon later in the fall next year. And then you'll have fullness in the 7th house. But I will say, with Pluto entering your romantic and sexuality house, for some of you, this is definitely going to look like some hot and heavy and intense and passionate new romantic encounters or sexual encounters coming over the next 20 years, depending on how old you are. Obviously, if you're listening to this and you're 80, you're going like, I don't even care if I have a lot of intense sexual passion and, deep, raw intimacy over the next 20 years. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's when people get their whole deep sexual intimacy, raw sex on 80 to 100 years old. But you know what I'm saying. It's all age dependent. If you're really young, just count my sex story. Certainly Pluto will help you, though, uncover any kind of sexual secrets or shame, or rehab you in your sexual healing as well, as you go through your 5th house over the years. But that's another story. Check out my Pluto and Aquarius videos. All right, I'm moving on. I hope I'm even sort of somewhat looking your way, because I'm looking over here at the charts. I'm going to make the screen change. Libra, are you in the live premiere? Hit the like button. Don't forget, it helps me grow. And you know the drill. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Well, let's talk about Scorpio, my Scorpio sun rising. Yeah, one of my dear girlfriends is a Scorpio sun. All right, so with this rising sign, what it means is, number one, you're going to experience in your 6th house, this is your many meanings, a new moon, new beginning. It can be the job space, the workspace, the colleague space, new beginnings. It can be the space of your dating life. It can be the space of pets. It can be a space of leases and rentals. It can be a space of debt. where you owe money or someone owes you money. So can the eighth. They both can. Indenturedness, servitude, slavery belong to the sixth house, but it's indebted energy as well. Indentured, indebted. Now, what'll happen here is that Jupiter's here, so it's all good. It's kind of got a glorious Jupiter overlay. But there's a new beginning and a change energy and a bold new beginning in your workspace, perhaps, or health and work, but certainly work. So some of you, I think, are looking at a new beginning because a new job or a really big raise or a big up level in terms of the power you hold in the job. And you may see that as soon as the first 2 weeks after this new moon, the sun is the ruler of your career and reputation space, and a new moon in the job and workspace flowing to the 10th house. And therefore, this looks very much like career, job, work opportunity. You may also be able to eliminate any kind of credit card debt or mortgage debt because Mars is the owner of the lunation space and he's in the house of your eighth house of chunky money, but it's also where you have credit cards and mortgages. It's also where you have inheritances. Couple of thoughts. You could be coming into some money maybe, or you could be able to eliminate some debt, or you come into some money that allows you to eliminate debt. There's a bit of chaos here. I didn't go into that. It's going to be for the world chart that asteroid chaos is on Mars, but nonetheless, it's a flow of a sextile energy between Mars and the sixth house in your chart. So it looks like it works out on your behalf. All works out well. Pluto's just about to step into the legacy, wealth, and family of origin house, your fourth house, and he'll do that while the moon is still pretty well freshly hatched. And I could be definitely looking at themes of coming into some money from your family of origin for some of you, but also powering up some new opportunities regarding places to rent or lease, or things to do with home buying and selling. These are themes that are going to be powering up in a bold and exciting new way for some of you Scorpio rising and sun and moon secondarily. Okay, so you also have Scorpio. You also have Ceres, this kind of harvesting in the 12th house of self-undoing. There's a possibility that you might get rid of an addiction or self-undoing as a result of this, because the axis of 6 and 12 can involve illnesses and self-defeat and self-undoing, okay? So if you have any patterns and habits around that, it would be time to let them go. And the harvesting energy of the sickle in your 12th house can help you connect the dots to let go of some kind of, and critically let go of it maybe forever, smoking, vaping, I know the drill on this channel, right? All the bad vices. And, because Ceres is also talking to basically Mars energetically, in a trine when this first moon happens. I mean, the axis of 12 and 8 can activate money. So there's definitely a money story that could come through here as well. Again, it's chunky money. Ceres, by the way, in the 12th house. What is coming to completion or an end in some area of your story that may be involving people from foreign shores or your own engagement with foreign shores, just because on the off chance that's relevant, foreign lands to your birthplace is a 12th house matter. And with Pluto moving into your 4th house, there could be a change of homeland, not just a change of home. You may move back to your homeland or to a new homeland. Those themes are playing out over the next 6 months for some of you Scorpio rising as you find a new powerful home and homeland, maybe. Yeah. All right, moving onward, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. In your sky, Sagittarius, the sexuality, romance, and children house, the muse, the inspiration, the creativity, and your independent business, and your joy and pleasure are all being new mooned in a powerful 0-degree new beginning. Remember that water woman rising from the water and the seal playing with her or whatever in the beginning? If you watch the beginning, there's a powerful Sabian symbol there. Well, you could be rising up from some kind of place in which you felt like your sexual life or your romantic life was, not fulfilling you. With Jupiter here, it's also a fertility transit, and it also could involve new moon, new beginnings. And the possibility of the child, pregnancy, news or information 2 weeks that follow. Mercury So this could be a fertility transit, a new moon, new beginning, for sure, for sure, for sure. But if it's not that, then if it's about sexuality and romance, there's a new start here. If you're with someone, it's going to give the relationship a fresh sexual energy, a fresh start. It's going to be some chironic sexual healing around the sexual stuff, sacred flame of devotion. Things could be really exciting, but also very mutually devotional sexual energies picking up in your fifth house. Maybe this new moon will give you a new beginning and an entrepreneurial fresh start, or new beginning as an entrepreneur, and a bold and exciting one at that. And Mars is in the seventh house of your significant business partners or love partners. And he's also saying, well, if there's going to be a new moon in the fifth house, how can I participate from the seventh at the very beginning of the story? And that would be like, oh, let me bring you some new changes in your significant business and marriage partnerships that can be really good for your fifth house pleasure, joy, and play. And by the way, leisure travel can be the fifth house. Mars is in the house of spouse. So leisure travel or trips with your spouse in the 2 weeks that follow. But it's more important to understand this is a critical, turning point, bold beginning, and it can really indicate some really critical, important changes of direction regarding children, you adult children, romance, things to do with your independent business and your creativity. Pluto will just about getting ready to step into your third house a few days after this moon. I talked about it in the beginning. What the fuck was that? Excuse my language. Did a bird hit my window? Did you guys hear that? Oh, I hope not. I hate that. Oh, I don't see anything. I just heard a thump on the window and I'm up high. So, excuse me, guys. So Sagittarius, that's not an omen. No, don't take it that way. Dead bird moment for the Sages. But Pluto's moving into your third house of siblings and aunts, uncles, cousins. And I'm going to not lie to you, man. Over the 20 years, you're going to lose some of those people to Plutonian storylines, such as, dark times, difficult times for them, or even death. Now, don't get all angsty about it, but, it can look like that. Pluto moving through your third house, though, can also mean a powerful transformation or change coming that's going to be about where you live in terms of the neighborhood environment. Pluto coming into the third house just after the moon and sort of telling a story about that. Aquarius part of your sky in a sextile flow to where the moon happened. Flow and ease and power and willpower between third and fifth house matters. I mean, Pluto can involve travel, and it may, with the moon, new moon connected to the sun, which is a ruler of your foreign lands house, your ninth house, or third marriages. New potency and power regarding trips and travel, neighborhood change around third marriages, around writing and publishing and creativity, websites, learning, knowledge. These are big, powerful themes that are really unraveling through your sky over the 2 weeks that follow the moon, but more importantly, even maybe over the 6 months that follow. A sibling can act as a powerful ally for some kind of good things happening in your marriage or in your outreach to your clients. It can be a powerful sibling energy in a good way in this 2 weeks that follow the moon. And especially with Ceres too. She's in the house of the elder sibling. Pluto's going to go into the house of siblings in general. You may have a cut away from an elder sibling or a friend or an ally that wasn't really your person. Or are quitting a social group. Like, I'm no longer going to go to this carte group. It's a place that doesn't work for me anymore. So some of you are going to cut away from these groups of people. And this new moon is a new beginning, but at the end, it's also a harvesting in larger social groups and networks, and maybe a harvesting of gains from a more traditional career where you're no longer making money from your career, but you're looking for more creative and entrepreneurial outlets for making money, especially also investments, because the new moon is the ruler of the house of investment income. And some of you may be figuring that out over the next 6 months, really. So pay attention, Sages. All right, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. You got a new beginning, a fresh start, a potent, boldly go. Oops, I forgot to change the backdrop. To boldly go where you have not been before. Some fresh, new, bold beginning and start. Well, that bold beginning and start is about your property, your land, your home, your domestic life, your fourth house. The mother, the house of the mother. Sometimes a house of legacy wealth, family of origin wealth, new beginnings here. Something fresh is starting up. Something new is trying to percolate through the sky here. I would also think that with a new moon with Jupiter here, this is very much opportunities to do with property and real estate, and to do with opportunities to expand your home, and a new, bold, expansive beginning regarding your home or homeland is happening for you. And it will fully fruit out into the fall, where there's a blessed, big, giant full moon in this same part of the sky in next October. Mars is the lunation lord, and he is in your sixth house during the lunation, but then he moves to your seventh house of marriage. While he's in your sixth house, he may be very much focused on things to do with renting or leasing property, pets and tenancies related to a new start and a new home. And also maybe the ability to date somebody close to home if you're single. As Mars then moves into your significant relationship, dating relationships can become committed, and or you and your significant existing other, this is going to start on the 25th of March, add 6 weeks, new existing relationships are going to move into a Mars seventh house storyline. Now, that can be for some Capricorns a feeling of being besieged by your partner, being heckled, or your partner being gnarly. I don't want to make it into that, but it can be that. Otherwise, there's a lot of dynamic momentum going on in the life of your partner, and that will happen in the 6 weeks that follow March 25th. But Mars is trying to make work reciprocal energy between houses 4 and 7, where the new moon happened, yet he's in a square. So possibly there's tension and conflict with the one you're with, or the one you're dating and you're now trying to commit to, about cohabitation, residence, where we want to live, where the proper destination home is, what's the best opportunity, where will we feel like we belong. Chiron is in the story here, all of that. Pluto will give you some more financial plus points as he moves into your second house shortly after this lunation, and he will sextile the place where the moon happened. It looks like resourcefulness and financial gain can happen. And your possessions can be also very significantly powering up because of something to do with a new beginning in your home. Like, for instance, you move to a place where you don't need a car and you sell your car and now you have more money, or you buy a beautiful new car because you need to drive to and fro in your new home, or you're just starting to get more cash flow. Some of you are and is allowing you to lease, buy, or move to a better home. And in the 2 weeks that follow, you'll see maybe hopefully clues of that 2 weeks after this moon on the 21st of March. You can say that Ceres is harvesting and ending a career, basically, not just a job for some of you. And it's a done deal. It's like, I'm going to start my whole new life over at home from my home, and I'm harvesting my career, cutting out of my job, getting away from that old purpose. Some of you are doing that. And that can be also something that's more true as the 6 months unfold from the new moon. But, getting ready to cut away from, leave behind some kind of career, job thing. I'm often using all my examples of my friends and family. My ex-husband retired out a bit and is going to maybe move to homeland Portugal. And I guess that cutting scythe would be no more consulting or no more last tethers to his corporate job. That's an example for you, for just to help make it real. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Okay, so this is a story. My ex-husband's name is Fergus. Everyone seems to know him by proxy. All right, and don't forget to hit the like button in the premiere. I would appreciate it. I can't decide it, but I think I'm getting cold. It was sunny and warm today-ish, but now it's cold and I'm cold. So just going to stay warm as I finish up with you guys, okay? All right, so the thing I want to look at, I'm looking at the chart in the back end. I'm Aquarius rising like you, sun and moon secondarily. We need to pay attention to a few things. All right, so number one, it's a new beginning in our third house, and it's a bold, declarative, fresh start with a lot of intensity and critical juncture turning points of 0 degrees. We're beginning something new in our house of writing, in our house of our online website stuff and platforms on social media, new beginning in the house of teaching, right? I teach classes in astrology. What new course or beginning will happen? Maybe the types of classes I teach. This can also be changes to my website. Who knows? There's new beginnings of bold magnitude or writing projects. And also the third house can be new beginnings in your relationships to your siblings, and new beginnings in your connection to your aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews, and new beginnings when it comes to short distance travel that are critically going to come to fullness by next October. this new beginning is with Jupiter. And so there's a lot of opportunity here, and it's full of blessings and good news and information coming through in the 2 weeks that follow this new moon, as Mercury is also sitting here playing along with this story. And it feels to me like good opportunities are coming in your online world or in your writing and projects, or when it comes to opportunities for trips and travel. If you want to also look at Mars then in your, well, I'm looking in your fifth house. Did I change the backdrop? Mars in your fifth house. I did. The Mars in your fifth house right now is about romantic love, to and fro, back and forth, in and out, on and off. Because of the retrograde, you guys have been like seesawing around about romantic love or sexuality or your children. And that's the story that's smoothing out right now. But Mars is looking back over his shoulder, and he's looking back at the third house. So this can be an opportunity to travel, leisure trips and travel with a significant romantic partner. There's a bit of chaos here, but it's still a sextile because of the asteroid chaos. You also could also open up a new corridor of creativity that looks like writing or communicating something new. Mars is in the house of the muse. Your children, you may have a harmonious separation, cutaway, and releasing of something with a child, including maybe them moving away from you physically, or you moving away from them, or you separating out from them in a positive way. And during this time, Mars will then move like shortly after the moon, like when it's still new, into Cancer, which is your sixth house of daily work and health routines and the hard work of doing the work you do and the way you do it. Now, Mars here can be very ambitious, and he can lead you to become a workaholic or to take measures that are rash and reckless and really aren't the best things for your job routines, health routines, and work routines. Mars here can get you to get a pet when you really don't have the time to care for one. So be careful. You don't have your best sensibility here at this time. He will definitely be, though, quite ambitious in this part of the chart, and he does connect to the fourth house, and therefore, it is a rental house. I mean, he can look back over his shoulder at it. I mean, bottom line, this could also be new opportunities in the 6 weeks that follow, May the 25th, add 6 weeks for changes of home to do with rentals and leases. So if you think about it, then I say March the 25th, April 25th, into early May. Okay. If you're single and you want to date somebody, Mars could bring in a new dating relationship because he's in the house of dating, in somebody that lives in your local neighborhood, or that you meet because you're traveling and you go on that trip or travel, a new beginning, third house, Mars in the sixth, and a new dating relationship emerges. You will know about it likely right away, though, because Mars is in the romance house, so stimulates a new romance. It leads to dating, and maybe on later in the summer, Mars in your seventh house commitment. There's a possibility, though, that Pluto moving into your first house, Aquarius, we know there's 2 whole videos I did on this movement for the world, but you as well. Check my playlist out. And this is intense energy. We're becoming Pluto, right? We are becoming powerful. We are becoming transformational. We're able to die, a phoenix rise from our own ashes. And this is something all Aquariuses will know for the next, 20 years. Early Aquariuses near 0 degrees get the first energy. And then when Pluto goes in here just shortly after this new moon, he will be in a flow to where the moon happened. So there's a new kind of power and a personal intensity of willpower that's beyond your personal willpower, like transpersonal willpower moving through you, allowing you to accomplish a whole lot when it comes to themes of your writing, themes of your website and teaching and learning and travel, but also connected in a flowing manner to that fifth house of romantic love, where Mars was seeding something with that new moon. So, and also with your children, these are positive energies. However, you are harvesting or completing ninth house things that can be a completion regarding themes of book publishing, foreign travel, court and legal matters, or maybe harvesting or completing an old belief, reaping a belief, a completion vibe. It's also the house of a third marriage, and you could be harvesting something within the context of what you would call a third marriage. But because this moon is also going to activate again in the fall in October as a full moon in the third house, again, there's going to be an energy of looking across from the third to the ninth, and full moon there could also be about marriage, a third marriage in the fall. So there's kind of like a new seed about a third marriage that becomes culminating in the fall. Possibly if you've been like doing a lot of ninth house stuff, like a mentoring larger groups of people, or even mentoring people, like, often people are confused. I think that seventh house is the one-on-one mentorship. It's not really. It's business partnerships, and it's what other people are doing. To me, it's the ninth house. This is where you find advisors, hand of the king, guides and mentors. And if you've been doing any professional work like I have as an astrologer, where you've been guiding and mentoring 5,000 people over 4.5 years, or five, different readings, and not all different new people, some of them are repeat clients, but I have a number of recordings I had done. It was like 4,000 and something recordings of one-on-one readings. It's a long story, but anyway. It's a harvesting, right? It's like, okay, I'm no longer going to I'm not going to be the hand of the king, the advisors and the mentors to all these people, because astrology is a mentorship tool. I mean, it's not a psychological counseling tool. We're not getting down, most of us, we're telling you it's an advisory tool. And so I think that that's going to be me completing that part of my narrative. I'm booking people out now next September and December. It's insane. And I also blocked my calendar off June, July, and August with a thought to open it up. I didn't think people would jump ahead and start booking into the fall. Yes, I can raise my rates. I probably need to do it again. I did it in the beginning of this year. But I'm just saying, for me, an example for you to pay attention to your life. What ninth house things are you coming to completion? Are you graduating from university? Are you no longer going to go to those foreign lands? Are you finishing up a relationship with a father figure and cutting it out of your life? Are you ending something to do with the word book publishing? Are you completing a legal matter and it's coming to the end? Are you completing an advisory role in your life and you're no longer going to be in that capacity and you're just done, complete. Now, you can be a professor in the ninth house and you can teach groups of people, but if you're doing any advisory consulting energy, hand of the king queen, and you're advising like the magi and the the scryers for the king, that, and you don't want to do that anymore, that can be coming to an end as well. Okay. Anything else I didn't say for us Aquariuses before we go on? I think I got it covered. I think we're good to go, right? I mean, new moon, new beginning in the third house definitely can open up like a lot of good stuff on your online world if you're an online junkie like I am, and give you greater reach to the seventh house of marketplace and audience, because the sun in the third house, bold new beginnings at 0 degrees, right, can open up new corridors of success in terms of your exposure to a marketplace or an audience over the next 6 months, really. So pay attention. And new beginnings with siblings, if I didn't say that, third house, right? I did mention it earlier, but a bold new beginning with a sibling, for example, in some significant way, especially a younger sibling. Pisces, first and always first. I so love you guys. Let's roll with it. What is the story for you that's going on in the sky today? Well, number one, this is a story that has a lot to do with you having a big, 0 degree amazing energy in the house that belongs to earnings and revenue and earned income and possessions. And this is going to open up a door for you of some bold energy, critical change around your money story. And it's going to be mostly what you earn, not what you just win in the lottery or something like that. And as this energy is culminating beginning as a seed, it will culminate in the fall and it'll lead to like a bigger harvest, maybe a fullness in the fall of this year in the month of October. But in the beginning, it's here now. What new seeds are planted for a fullness of earnings. Jupiter is luck and opportunity. Vessel flame is something you want to devote yourself to. You may have felt a little wounded in the earnings house, and now you're going to heal that wound. Jupiter's helping you with that anyway. New beginnings and good news may be coming. Mercury in the couple weeks that follows the moon around professional and work and career and money stories. Because Mars is in your fourth house and he wants to make changes in your home. Some of you are going to move because of a job opportunity. Some of you are just going to move anyway. Some of you are changing your home base, or your homeland as a result of this new beginning, but it ends up being really good for your money. Changes in the home, of the home, and about the home, from the home, including construction, can be very auspicious for you. If you're afraid to change your home for some reason, don't be afraid, Pisces. It's a good move for you financially, because Pluto is going to move into your 12th house. You can get great financial gain over the next 20 years using barter and trade from foreign lands and shores. This is like using PayPal, Stripe accounts, and having an international client base, or money being made from another country than your home base. So you get a contract to work for somebody in another country or whatever. And powerful income sources come overseas from faraway lands for the next 20 years of your life. You also may experience with Pluto moving into your 12th house, and this happens shortly after the moon, around the 25th of March. This is going to be an energy that flows towards your second. We're looking at some really good money through foreign lands or online payment processing answers over the next 20 years, really. But this new moon says in the 2 weeks that follow, look for those new opportunities for money from foreign lands and shores that power up your sky. Woohoo! You may also find that you need to cut away from an end dependence or reliance on your spouse's money, business partner money, government grants and money, investment money, 401k money. It's time to like step away from that. Ceres is harvesting and reaping. I just had dinner with a Pisces friend of mine, and he's living on his the pension plan that the government gives you, and it's not very much money. And I'm like, you can live on that? I'm like, oh my God. He's a Pisces rising or Pisces sun, and you can live on that. So the point is that your dependence on these kind of passive residual income stories is coming to an end as of this new moon. But no worries, because you're powering way up in terms of this like new beginning in the earnings house. And it looks very lucky and fruitful because Jupiter, a wealth god, is there during this new moon. So look for these opportunities to make you smile as this new beginning begins to wake up in your earnings house. Again, powerful people in foreign lands can be a part of it, or powerful connections to foreign lands as well. And some of you are changing your home. I hope that was useful. My girlfriend's making dinner and I want to roll and enjoy some time with her. I so appreciate, Pisces, that you're so patient to wait. I hope I gave you enough detail. I start with you lately because there's a lot been going on with you with Saturn in your house of you. Check out that video. If you guys are still listening and you're in the description box, in the live premiere, check my description. If you're in the description box, I don't think you're in my description box. I'm a little bit punchy right now. It's been a long day. Well, not long, but I don't know. I had an intense dream night last night. The Schumann resonance was spiking. Don't know if you guys know what the Schumann resonance is, but it was over the top all day yesterday into the night. And I had the most powerful and important dreams. But I feel like I was like all night long in this like profound place of the dreams were so intense. So today I kind of feel like all I wanted to do was become a vegetable, but I recorded this for you guys on March the 9th, after Day of Clients 2023, because I am loving engaging with you and my audience, and the comments you guys give me are amazing. So please don't ever ask me what to do about your chart, because I can't tell you without seeing your chart. But you general commentary about astrology, thoughts you have about this topic that we talk about in each video, and some of your narratives, some of you have shared with me, are amazing. Like I try to screenshot and keep some of your stories about how transits have played out in your life and your awareness of astrology. I want to say that you guys are a sophisticated listening audience, and I'm really excited by that. I'm really delighted by that as well, because it seems like most of you had a lot of knowledge about astrology who are in my comments boxes. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you again for all of this time with you. And if you're not hitting that like button as we close out, please do. I'm aiming for 25,000 subscribers. By the time you get this, I'll probably be at 22. When I get to 25, I'm going to do a giant 10 prize giveaway. If you want to get into that, you make sure you hit the like button, and you know the drill, because then you're going to get notifications, get on my email list, Cosmic Moonshine, and all of that. And I hope everyone's doing well in Scotland. LA Taylor misbehaving, all my crew. A new client today. I just had a lovely lady named Lorna from Scotland who's in my community. So all of you people, and give me great encouragement, all of you people around the world, I know you're more than that. You're Turkey, and you're Australia, and you're New Zealand, and you're Indonesia, and you're Singapore. But thanks for being here. I'm not going to shout out all the names at the end of the video. Next time I will do that at the beginning. Bye. Mwah. Big hugs all. Now I got to exit stage left.